Hello everyone, welcome to the last installment of the Radical tutorial series. This time we're with the SR10 at Watkins Glen. So, Watkins Glen is a track that is very flowy. It demands much more platform control and pitch control than braking hard and late in a straight line. We'll start with T1 for example. So, T1, probably my favorite corner of the whole track. Brake at about the 250. However, the trick in T1 is right around here. I'll play in slow motion. You can look at the car. It bounces right about here. There is a dip in the track that make it so that if you brake at the braking point too hard, like I could stab the brakes here. If I were to do so, I'd lock up the front tires. Okay, that's why I roll on the brakes very smoothly. I play real time. Okay, that's why I take my time to roll on the brakes. I start getting on the brakes before the bump, and as I roll through the bump, I increase the brakes. And once I know I'm clear the bump, I'm on max brakes. So right about here, I clear the bump, I'm max brake. Okay, into T1. Try not to kick over steer on entry because you don't want to understeer on exit. Because if you scrub your front tires and you scrub speed on exit, you scrub it all the way down to the bus stop, and it's the longest straight in the whole track. So you definitely want to have a good exit out of here. In this example, I overdone it a little bit. You also don't want to just stamp the power, but you'll find yourself doing so in some laps because there's so much grip from the compression that once you have the rotation, you have the angle, you got to get out. 2 tires on the curb at all times, otherwise it's a 1X. Here you want to do as little steering work as possible, so you want to stretch the line as much as possible around those S's because it's not time on the table, but it is going to overheat your tires if you do too much steering work. And also, if you're on a quali lap or even race laps, hold the right side all the way till the straight line, and then go left. It's a few hundredths. Now the bus stop chicane, you don't want to brake as late as possible. You want to brake as smooth as possible. And the way to gain time in this bus stop chicane is not to move your braking marker forward, but it's to brake less and to control the pitch of the car as you roll through it. There's a lot of rotation under the brakes. You want to use it to your advantage, but you don't want it to over brake so that you pitch the car and the platform is uneven. The reason is, as I get to my braking marker, which is about the 250 again, I put little to no brakes. I smoothly turn into the corner, and this curb is the reason why. The line window in the bus stop is very, very small. You don't have a lot of choices for a racing line in here. And the reason is, if you jump this curb too much to the right side, you hit the wall. But if I jump any more to the left side than this, I jump awkwardly my left side tires on the first part of this curb right here, and I cannot um, take the bus stop just as fast because I'll bounce awkwardly, and when I land, I'm either snap oversteering or I'm understeering, and I'll have to be much more slower than the speed that I'm at. So it's one line through here. It's as close to the wall as possible without touching it. So your car jumps the curb flat, lands flat, and then you can reapply the brakes just a little bit, just to slow down, control the platform of the car. In all of these curves, you want to be as close to the grass as possible. Okay. And right over here, I'm loading the power just a little bit to make sure that my nose is up when I take the second curb. But also, you're aligning your car to almost straight line the third and fourth curb. You're not doing steering work in the third curb. You're not taking the third curb as a corner. You start opening up the steering wheel once you're at the third curb like this. Okay? So the most steering work that I'll do in this whole bus stop is in the middle. It's right about here. Okay, so once I'm done doing the most steering work, I should load up the power and open up. Uh, and as you do so, you'll get much more stability from the curbs as well. Notice how I put a little bit of power right here just to try to lift the nose ish. Doesn't do much, but it's more of a subconscious thing that I do to make sure that my car is leveled. I don't think here it did much, but it's much better to do this than to be on the brakes at the curb, because if you have the nose down and you hit the front, you create a moment on the car and you upset the car once you jump it. Um, Close to the grass as possible. Don't get the 1X. You can take a little bit though, like I'm doing right here. Again, close to the grass here, close to the grass here. And then to T5. T5, same thing. I'm applying little to no brakes. Also notice my throttle release. Okay, it's not. I mean, it is fast, but it's not instant. The smoother you release the power, the better it is. I felt like it was too fast right here, but you don't want to release the power so that you feel a weight transfer as you roll into it. You want to keep the platform as level as possible. Smooth transitions. Little to no braking. Apex is this tarmac escape road right behind the lights. Start rolling on power smoothly, and you want to be disciplined with your throttle. Right about here, I'm looking at the go bowling. Okay, so I'm trying to look above the fence, and I'm trying to time with muscle memory, with time, with practice. You'll understand what I mean. I'm trying to time, if I commit the power right now, can I clear the go bowling? Can I clear the exit without understeering? That's why I'm a bit hesitant for a short moment right here, and then I commit to full, because as you can tell, my steering angle is very high for the corner, and I'm understeering just that little bit as I roll back on power right here. So I'm trying to keep as much rotation as possible. If you offset your line half a car away from what I'm doing here, you're gonna understeer into the wall. There's not a lot of grip on the outside line here. Okay, so do not be too eager on power. Do not understeer. Otherwise, you're scarring your front tire, and it's a pain in the rear for the rest of the track, or you're at risk of hitting the wall and ending your race. There's a 1X at this grass, so be careful for qualifying laps, but you want to use as much as a curve as possible. T6. Braking zone is before I use this white I'll use this patch right here, the cement patch. I'd say a car length, half a car length before it. And the intriguing thing about T6 is the whole corner is banked. But when you roll through it, you go down. We're a bit banked right now, a little bit banked right now, and then you go down, and then you turn. So whenever you have a crest, if you do rotation on the crest, and you'll oversteer. That's why this corner, if you are to take it late apex, you will oversteer as you roll into mid corner because it goes down. You're much better off. I want to say early apex, but slow steering and dive in earlier than you would if the corner was flat. A bit like NASCAR tracks, if any of you watch ovals, and you can really ride this curb. Okay, you can stay along the curb, and look at how early I put the power because of the compression, because of the banking. Again, the key to this corner is, notice when I turn in, I'm gonna have a little moment right here, just right here. The car oversteers, like I was talking about. So imagine if you late apex even more, you get no grip from oversteer into understeer. I control the platform of the car as much as possible, and then right as I know I'm getting to the curb, I'm roll on power, and there's so much banking, there's so much compression that you can just commit to full power and clear the curb all the way till the edge of the grass on exit. Okay. Into T7, braking marker about the 100, 120. T7 again, a lot of compression, but look here, you can see it with the car. I'm gonna oversteer a little bit here, and I'm gonna compress even more here. So you see the potential issue. If on that early turn in you're very oversteering, and then you release the brakes, and you get compression, you get no more front axle grip. Okay, you're just gonna four wheel slide off, and there's not a lot of grip, like as you can just see from the track texture, on the left side of the track here. Um, so again, control the platform of the car. I'm hard braking in a straight line, but I'm releasing progressively to just control the oversteer. Little to no braking as I roll into the corner. Early throttle because it's quite a late apex, and the apex is that dent right around here. I don't know if we can see it from here. Yeah, right here. Okay, there's a line here. Then it's not dent. Sorry, it's more acute. Right. Um, there's a triangle. There's a peak here on track. Okay, that's what you're targeting. But you can roll on power earlier because it's quite late in the corner, and there's a lot of banking. There's a lot of compression too. You're going uphill, so you can load up the power and roll speed with the grip given. Just be careful on exit. If you understeer here, as it cambers away here, it banks away right here. You can find yourself snap oversteering, and you want to go all the way to the grass. Okay, you won't get a 1x if you're here. You will get a 1x if you touch the grass. But forget the white line. Like, use the whole track. There's a reason why the grass is like this, because people keep dipping tires. So use it to your advantage. Into T8, braking marker right after 200. So I say 175. Again, that's another case of aero control. I don't know why on this track, but every time you turn into corners, most corners it just banks. It like there's a crest, and then you turn in, so you're at risk of oversteering here and then understeering here. If you're holding too much brakes while you turn in, and again, compression, a lot of grip. So once you got the car pointed the right direction, you can roll on power. Here I'm a bit hesitant on power because I got too happy rolling into it. So now I need to wait a little bit of understeer, corrected it. Now oversteer. Once you get above this exit curb, it can snap on you. Get the right angle when you roll through it. Okay. You don't want to snap oversteer here because if you correct, you're either going left side to the grass or you're going right side to the wall, cutting back on track, hitting someone, etc., etc., etc. Especially if you're fighting side by side. You can, if you mess up the exit of the last corner, have people on your inside and hold the outside to try to get the inside for the next one. But if you oversteer above the curb because you're gonna take it way earlier than you would normally, you're just gonna run into the opponent, and it's never a good look. It's never a good feel, and we all want to finish our races if we want to finish first. So yeah, be careful of that exit curb. You can see my car snaps as I get on it right here, right here. Okay, all the way till the edge of the grass here. Set up for the next corner. Again, a lot of braking in a straight line, but the moment I turn in, there's a bump here. Then it's flat. You can see the car. Look right here. Here. Then it's more or less flat in terms of track surface, not in terms of elevation. Of course, the elevation is not flat, but in terms of track surface, it's more or less flat. And then right here, there's one crest here, more or less flat. Second crest here. Okay, you can see it from the car playing slow motion. Here's the second one. You saw the rear lift up right here. Okay. And here's the first one right here where my car oversteers. Okay. Very low grip corner, a little bit like Coda. Okay. But those are your cues for your double apex. You want to play with those elevation changes. That's why I have little to no braking, because braking creates rotation. Braking induces rotation in the car, but it's just like a recipe. If I want rotation, but I get it from the track surface, then I'm gonna remove some braking to have the amount of rotation I want. So that's why I trail brake so aggressively, and even look at my wheel. Even if I trail brake this early, I'm still hesitant to turn in. I have little to no brakes. I reapply the brakes from the correction, then I can commit, and then I can roll the power, and that's a lot of slip angle. So you have to be careful of that throughout the race. You might overuse your rear tires. Lap 1, you'll be able to roll on full power this early. Lap 15, I don't know. Okay. When the tires get used up, it's quite hard to commit to full power this early in this corner. All the way to the exit, but don't touch the grass. This grass will pull you to the right side, and this exit wall comes at you fast. The braking point for this corner, there isn't a point really. Just look at your corner. I would say once you reach the right side, before the not the separation, but before that white line goes right, you want to start braking. But if you look at your corner, um, and you obviously brake before turning, you will progressively find a braking rhythm to this corner, because the moment you brake, you turn. That's what's tricky with this corner. So if you get too eager to brake and turn, you'll oversteer every time. So you have to be careful with your braking and then turning timing. That's it. And now the final two corners, my favorite corners, after T1, is the key is to understand that the first one sets up the next one. Okay. If you run too wide on the first of the two corners and you end up over here, but you don't get the 1X, you'll be pointed to the left as you roll to the right side. Okay. You don't want to be too patient and not use the tires and go all the way left and already be pointed in a straight line as if this was a straight line. No, it's like a long chicane. Okay. I am still pointed to the left that a very little bit, which is more or less fine. Ideally, you don't want to. You want to be able to bring a car across and not point left when you turn right. Um, but you don't want to be pointing diagonal left, braking, and then rolling into it right, because you'll kill a lot of speed for the second corner. Okay. The key here, as I turn in, I'm trying to put my right side tires as close to the grass as possible, and I give a kick of no throttle to just dip the nose down, and then I catch it with a diff and get on power soon to get the car to rotate, because this car rotates a lot on throttle from the differential. On aero, no, it understeers a lot, but from the diff, yes. So that's why I aero the car down, like give it a, I'll play it real time, I'll show you. Okay, so I get off to pitch down. Once I pitch down, I catch it with the diff. Okay, um, that's what I do. And you see that little bit of steering work. Okay, get as close to the curb as possible. You don't need to roll on it. I think that if you roll on it too much with this car, you'll get bumped a little bit to the right. It will offset your line. The ideal thing here is when you roll on that curb, it will push you left a little bit because of the way the curb is banked here. So the ideal thing is to keep two tires on that curb. No need to go all the way right, because you want to set up for the last corner. Last corner, braking marker. Look at your corner. Not really a braking marker here. Is the moment you get to the white line, start braking. Even before, I'd say the end of the tires here, the blue tires, the tire safety barrier. Okay, safety barrier. Sorry. But the thing is, again, here, just like T5, very similar to T5, although it's much smaller. You don't want to understeer all the way into the wall. Okay, you want to be able to have the car pointed in the right direction, little to no braking to control the platform of the car, as much rotation as possible. And once you're ready to commit on power, and just push off all the way to the wall. Okay, but this wall will damage your car big time. Nah, you can't hit it, you can't brush it, you can't get away, but it's not ideal. And as you roll up, right here, you get compression. Now you get nothing right about here. Okay, until you're at the curb, and then the car kind of like sits on the curb, like boom, and then you can get out. So you really have to be patient with the exit of this corner. And how are you patient with the exit of this corner? It's actually with the entry setup. As you can tell, I load the power pretty fast because I was patient with how I set it up on entry. I didn't like nosedive and brake late. I really respected the rotation, and then just once I know I have rotation, I can just get out the corner. That's the idea behind Watkins Glen as a whole. It's quite a fun track because except except T9, the the double apex uphill left hander that's very low grip. Every corner is a question of don't nosedive, have just the brake to slow down the car to generate that little bit of rotation. Smooth with your steering, don't oversteer. Okay, just create rotation, but don't oversteer. And think about the car angle and the car placement when you want to roll on power on exit. And once you start rolling on power and exit, don't understeer. Okay, that's the rule of thumb for all the corners around this racetrack. And yeah, I hope everybody's gonna have fun for that round of the BIS series for anyone doing it. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out on the Discord, on the Advanced Motorsports website, um, and you can reach us by email as well, and also on the Advanced Motorsports Instagram. Thank you.